I wouldn't say it's been a straightforward road, let's say that much. There's been a lot of success, as you say. There's been a lot of really high moments. There's also been some downs, and obviously in the long run I want to make it more ups than downs. So that is the ultimate goal for me, and to hopefully progress and get myself onto the tour full time.
Hello, welcome along to the latest edition of the Tungsten Talk here at the MODUS Super Series, where we delve into the lives of those involved within the sport of darts. And today, well, it's a very special edition because it's the spotters edition of the Tungsten Talk, because we have Jared Cole with us. This is quite nice amongst friends, me, Jared, Scotty, all sat in a nice studio. This is like a little works reunion, this.
It's just another day at work, I suppose, ain't it? Yeah, I'm really excited to get going.
Let's have a little chat then. We'll talk a little bit about the darts in a minute, but I want to talk about the spotting stuff and the stuff behind the scenes. Just first of all, how did you get an introduction into that?
To be honest, I was approached by MODUS with the idea of sort of giving it a go, basically. I moved down here about 2 years ago, and I was looking for work because I moved away from where I'm from. And long story short, I got invited to give it a trial shift, and I've always been quite good with my maths, so it was something they thought I would be good at, and well, I seem to have settled in quite well.
Was it something you ever thought that you would perhaps delve a hand into? Was this just almost something that you've kind of fallen into to a certain extent?
Yeah, to be honest, when I first heard of the role, I didn't realise it was a role. And sort of they said about it, and I was like, that sounds like something I could be really good at. And long story short, I got my introduction, got to train off of Owen Binks, who's certainly a character.
Poor soul.
Right? Something like that. But yeah, no, he taught me really well, so I'm really happy to be here.
He's actually quite useful now, isn't he, every now and then?
Absolutely, and I've got to say that spotting's not something that every dart player can turn their hand to. The same as commentary. There's lots of dart players out there, but spotting is one of the more difficult things to turn your hand to, and you've got to be right on the game. You've got to be right focused on the game from way out in the 400s and know how the other guys play, because everybody goes different ways as well. So you have to be a little bit better than the average bear to be a spotter. And yeah, fair play to Jared for taking that on. And we get to hear some of his action here in the commentary box in our ears, and we know he's pretty good at it.
So just describe for those that don't know, just strip it back right to bare basics, what the ins and outs of the job is pretty much.
Okay, so to start, you almost have a dartboard in front of you. You are you're mic'd up, so the people around you can hear you, and you have to describe what the dart player is going to do. So there's different sort of cameras on the board. You can see the up, you can see the down, you can see specific numbers on the dartboard. And my job is to try and work out exactly where they're going. And yeah, it's can be quite difficult if you get players like Brian Roman. It's certainly a difficult one. I mean, yeah, good luck spotting bullseye, double 16 bullseye. But yeah, it has its moments, and it's a really good job. I enjoy it, and it also gives me a different way of looking at darts.
And so effectively, your job is to communicate with the director what the player's doing, pretty much.
Yeah, like my job is to try and understand what a dart player is thinking before they've thrown the dart, and almost react to what they do on the dartboard, because a lot of the time it doesn't go right, so it becomes very difficult.
And I can tell you now that our director, Simon, is really glad that you're playing this week so we can have a bit of peace and quiet from you. But in all seriousness, though, I know it's a job that you enjoy, but the goal is still to be a professional dart player, right?
100%. Yeah, I love working behind the scenes here, but my job's on the stage, and I do plan to be a professional dart player long term. So as much as it's good for its own sort of benefits and being part of the team is fantastic, I want to be on the tour. So that's where I'm going to hopefully end up.
I suppose it's an important thing, Scott, as well. That I suppose Jared's kind of got this second-hand security, hasn't he? That everybody has that aspiration and has that dream to be a professional dart player. But I suppose it's not as easy. It's not as cut and dry as just going out there, playing on the pro tour, earning decent money. Sometimes you've got to take that step back to take the step forward again.
The unfortunate thing for every dart player, and that includes myself, is that the limelight is put on those top 16 guys that are making all that money. And I think everybody, when you mention that you're trying to be a professional dart player, or you are a professional dart player, everybody thinks you're raking in the money and it's all coming in and life's all easy. And it isn't at all. And everybody's had to start somewhere. Jared's still in the infancy, although he seems to have been around forever and a day. He's still in the infancy in the game. And and having to do the other things to make it work are part of what gives you the strength to go on and be a pro dart player. So it's not always as easy as one would see when they see the top prize money and only one person ever wins that. So there's a lot of other people under that are making the sport, but unfortunately have to graft at it.
Is it fair to say that your story is, yes, there's been a lot of successes, but also a lot of hurdles that have been in the way, a lot of hurdles you've had to overcome?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's been a straightforward road, let's say that much. There's been a lot of success, as you say. There's been a lot of really high moments. There's also been some downs, and obviously in the long run, I want to make it more ups than downs. So that is the ultimate goal for me, and to hopefully progress and get myself onto the tour full time.
Where did it all begin?
Well, properly or sort of as a proper youth. I was 3 years old when I got my first dartboard, so yeah, if you want to go off that basis, pretty young. But then I played county youth at 9, got a 180 for the first time on a county stage at 11, so I sort of got quite good quite quickly. Got my international call up in 2017, got to play a long list legend, so it was pretty cool. And then, yeah, I started playing on the PDC tour, won a couple of titles, and yeah, like sort of the world's sort of my oyster at this point. Hopefully there's more to come.
Darts very much runs in the family blood, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, we're a massive like darting family. I just came from a county this weekend. Like my brother plays in the same team as me, and we both won this weekend. So, sorry, no, I lost to Jamie Hughes. But yeah, my brother won, so a good weekend. And well, it was always nice to represent the same place as where your family's from.
Let's talk about that step then, from being a promising youth player to then doing things more seniorly, because you did burst onto the scene as a youth player, picked up the Finder Masters at a tender age, won that on television in the Netherlands. When you're in that situation where you've achieved so much so young, is there almost, not in a naive way, but because you've done so much, you almost feel like this is just going to carry on and carry on and carry on?
You hope so. I mean, I was very, very good when I was 17. I did pick up quite a few local titles, JDC titles, and obviously the European darts for England, and then the Finder darts for obviously myself, which are crazy moments and sort of moments that will live with me forever. But then when the sort of like the trophies dry up, because you have to sort of step out of your comfort zone and mix it with the best, basically, it becomes a lot harder to keep that success going. And now it's all about trying to get to the next level without it being the end of the road, if that makes sense.
What is the step up like then when you become a very good youth player and then you're having to take on the men's game?
Yeah, it's probably easier to explain in sort of standard. Like sort of the level up in the game is incredible. Like you see with Luke Littler, he took to it like a duck to water, and all of a sudden he's one of the best players in the world, if not the best. And my aim is to try and get there myself. Some people's roads aren't quite as simple as his, but yeah, like sort of I went from being a very good youth player and one of the top youth players to being right at the bottom again, almost. So it's nice to sort of like see that progression and hopefully build back up to being one of the best.
You saw Jared as a promising young player. What was your first take when you saw him and you saw his talent?
I've got to be honest, I really didn't know a lot about him to the day that I met him, and then all of a sudden this bubbly character comes in and you think, this guy's not a dart player. He's having too much fun. He's enjoying himself here. And then he was going up and playing some just absolutely amazing darts. So to be able to toy the two together, I think was very different to what we'd seen before. We'd seen lots of nervous youth players going up there, and that wasn't him. He never seemed to be nervous. It never came across as that. And I thought, this guy could go far. He's not here for 10 minutes. He's going to be here for a long time, or as long as he allows himself to be. Because, you know, at that age, when you're coming from the youth and then coming out, and you can see why the development tour, people criticise the PDC saying the development tour goes on too long. I disagree, because there is a period that once you go past 18 that you do start playing in amongst the top players everywhere else. So you need to sometimes come back and come in amongst your own age group to remember what you've learned in all this time. And I think Jared's probably done that superbly.
Playing with a smile on the face is something that it seems to come very naturally for yourself.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm quite a bubbly person generally. I like to enjoy myself. Ultimately, I want to succeed in this game, but I want to do it with a smile on my face. So that's my attitude towards the game. If you enjoy it, the game will be nice to you. That's the way I play it and how I hope the game will treat me long term.
Right, let's talk about some of the stuff that you've done and some of the ups and some of the downs. I'll tell you what, we'll talk about the positives at the end. Let's get the down bits out of the way with first.
Do we have to?
Yeah, you know better than anybody how this works. Let's talk Q School, first of all, because I suppose that's the one more than anything, isn't it, that hurts the most, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Q School's been a very much mixed up and down thing because I've had some really good performances there. I've beaten some of the players that are now on tour, and unfortunately it never happened for me to get my tour card, but I have been so close a few times.
The Aaron Beanie one, where you know that you get that one, you get a card. Is that the one that possibly hurts the most?
Yeah, definitely that one, because ultimately that was in my own hands and I had the darts to win my tour card. And unfortunately it didn't happen, but I mean, I learnt so much from the experience and how to feel in the moment, well, when it hopefully happens again.
Does it take you time to kind of come over a disappointment like that? Getting so close to winning your tour card, getting close to getting that one thing that you want in your career. How do you try and then get over that and try and move yourself forwards?
You almost have to take a step back to then go further forward. Like, you have to sort of accept that it's happened and how it's happened. You need to reevaluate why it happened, and then you need to attack it with a new mentality and say, this time it's not going to happen and I will win this tour card.
But the way that you respond to things is, I suppose, very admirable. We saw you play from home. First of all, how hot was that conservatory?
Boiling. In one word, boiling. It was easily 40 odd degrees in there. It was horrible to play darts in. I mean, the darts were slipping out my hands at points, so it was quite difficult to play at my best. But yeah, some days were good, but when the sun started gleaming down on you, it became very, very difficult.
Did you two play from home against one another?
Couple of times.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. It's just, that was the weirdest thing ever to do. It was another format to the game that, I've got to be honest, I feel really fortunate that I did it, because it was another part of the game that you learned to take on with you in your experience. So I think for both of us, it was a really good thing. And I think for the sport in general at that time, it needed something, and that was it, playing from home. But as Jared said, it is, you've got to keep bouncing back. The Q School sort of things that haven't quite gone right. There will be positives, and Jared just mentioned it. He beat some great players there, so I know that he's thinking positively. He's not thinking negatively. Yes, the outcome was not what you want, but I think if you can still find more positives than negatives in an experience like going to Q School, it makes you a better player long term, because it gives you back ability as you get older. It just, because you've experienced the lows of the game. And I think for those that come straight through and you think, oh, I wish I was them, this has happened, that's happened, before you know it, within 10 minutes they're at the top of the game, the chances are they don't stay there for much longer than 10 minutes. They're gone within 2 or 3 years, because they haven't ever experienced the lows. And when the lows do eventually come, you're not ready for it.
How do you describe your relationship with this place?
It's very, I love it here. I do love this building. I still haven't had my moment in this building though. I've had a 9-darter, I've had like sort of individual moments where I played really well, but I do want a weekly title in here, and I'm hoping that will come soon.
It's all about all those times you've practiced, all those thoughts and all those feelings have come to fruition. It's Jared Cole,
it's the king of the
who
battle,
wins
Jared Cole.
week 12 of Series 10.
Jared Cole! Let's talk about some of the highs then, and I want to talk Lakeside, because I know that was an experience that you held very fondly, and hey, only good players beat Martin Adams at that venue, right?
Damn right they do.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was incredible. Sort of when I first qualified, it was sort of a dream come true. It's a massive bucket list thing for me to be able to say I've played at Lakeside and experienced it, because that is like something I can't even put it into words. It's incredible. Sort of the atmosphere that's built in that arena, and the legacy of that arena is something that can't be changed.
You're the first ever player to win a match at a WDF World Championship. They can never take that away from you.
Yeah, that was a weird one. When I saw the draw and I was like, first game on Martin Adams, I was like, anything else but that. Obviously, then I get to the day and I actually get to play him. And, well, he didn't play permitting his best, but I was really happy with my performance and I got the job done.
A couple of titles as well on the WDF circuit. One in England last year. How much pride did you have with that one?
Yeah, it's been very, very enjoyable. I won the England Classic last year, which was a crowning moment in WDF for me. I've sort of done it at youth level. It was nice to pick up a senior title, so obviously really happy with that. It was a bit of a strange day because at the start of the day, I'll be honest, I was quite low in confidence. I'd sort of not played particularly great in the days building up to it. Made a couple of little tweaks to my throw and, everything worked. It was brilliant.
Let's talk the future. What does it look like short term, kind of what the goals for the season, then what are we looking at more longer term?
I think ultimately it's to build back up to Q School. Obviously, next January, I want to go to Q School as fit and ready to play as possible. I want to be in the best place mentally and physically for the opportunity. Obviously, it's a long week. It can be very challenging if you burst too early or sort of start too slow. It's a very sort of aggressive week, let's say. It's do or die almost. It's ridiculous.
Been good fun, just me and a couple of mates having a little chinwag about darts.
Just like old times.
Just like old times. Scotty, thank you. Jared, thank you. Keep up the good work, by the way, as well.
I appreciate it. I'll try.
Occasionally, you're quite useful,
I have my moment.
Fellas, thank you. Thank you for watching the latest edition of the Tungsten Talk here at the MODUS Super Series, Pals Edition.